growing up as a Black woman in Italy was looking back, because I only realized that when I joined my community in London. And by this, I explained that I always been feeling, loved, and, I was happy with myself, my family, but I didn't have anybody who looked like me. I grew up with mostly white people around me. Sometimes you might have had, brown people. But yeah, that's how I thought my reality is. I'm Italian. People tell me where you come from. I said I'm Italian. Not that I was hiding my identity as a Nigerian, because I identify myself as a Nigerian Italian. So now I do embrace both identity. And when I say now, it's because before, when I was in Italy, I was mainly saying I'm Italian. And obviously people would say obviously I'm Black. Yeah, so I didn't have many people who look like me. And in the, I would say 10 years of schools, from kindergarten to primary school and college, I always been the only Black person in class. There were other people who looked like me in other classes, but never in my class. So how has that shaped my identity? I would say that because I was mainly by myself, I believe the resilient side of me, the ambitious side of me, of wanting to be doing the best I can in everything. The fact that I wanted to be available, accessible to people, help everybody. I was really good at school. So I think that really played well with me. So kind of that mask, the possibility of being bullied, because we don't have to, we can't really hide the fact that there might be people who might not understand that we are diverse and that we are unique in our ways. So there might be people who may be telling you things you don't like. I'm not talking about racism per se, because if I was to be honest with myself, I didn't experience much racism. And maybe because of the person I am, sometimes you heard things like, oh, but you're not like them. But at the time I was thinking that was okay. Then when obviously you are moving to a place that's much more diverse, you have lots of people who look like you in London, you started seeing a different dynamic. So the things you thought they were good to say, in reality, looking back, were not good to hear or have that person said to you. So I think I built some sort of resiliency. I think that's the main thing that kind of exist and continue to exist in my life. I'm resilient in many things, and I think that really helped me, succeed in different situations in life. But I never felt discouraged about the fact that I was the only Black person. I never felt discouraged that people perhaps, were really, commenting on my features, the big lips, the big nose, the fact that my skin was Black, comparing it to other Black people, but you are lighter, so you're okay. Things like this, I never really gave in so much weight. You can't hide away from the fact that there are people who are a little bit ignorant, and don't understand where you're coming from, don't understand where Nigeria is, don't understand how you eat, don't understand how you dress, and yourself, because you don't have representation. And it's not easy, it's not always, and I hope that when I'm saying this, some people might understand what I mean. You don't get seated down at home to explain, Stefania, guard yourself. You're going to find these people. It's just things that you find on your way as you grow up. So some things are shocking. You're like, but I'm Italian? What do you mean?
Because you had shared something with me in our previous conversations. You had said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you almost didn't know that you were Black, in a sense. You didn't feel different because you were just an Italian person, and that was it, until maybe later on. Can you talk a little bit about that and that comment and what that means?
Yes, that's correct. I didn't feel like I was Black because color was not such a thing for me. I was like the other people. I was going to school. I was a student. I was the friend of my other friend. I used to do things that people are doing. So for me, I was not different. I was Stefania. I was good at school. If you're bullying me because I'm good at school, that's your own problem. If you're bullying me because I have, braids, that's your own problem. So, yeah, I think that's something that I realized only when I left Italy, and I look back and I said, wow, that's quite deep if you think about it. Like, because I've been Black all my life. And in a way, it was a little bit detrimental, because if I'd known or recognized and used the word embrace my Blackness, maybe that confidence would have been 2% more. Maybe the fact that people would have told me things that I thought, oh, he's my friend, it doesn't mean bad things. I would have probably like been able to, point that out. So I think when you leave, and I'm not saying that my friends or people around me were ignorant per se, but I was ignorant myself as well. So I think the fact that most of us, and I'm talking also perhaps on behalf of other Black people, because we had a chat as well, one of our first years in London, where many people didn't really realize they were Black. I remember this story that my friend told me, and we're still friends today. He told me, and I was so shocked till today. The teacher told him in primary school to draw himself. And when he finished the drawing, he drew a white person.
Wow.
And then he gave it to the teacher, and the teacher said, "Who is this?" And my friend, who is from Le Marche, a little bit down in Italy, said, "This is me." For me, till today, that kind of like, it's powerful.
Yeah.
I wonder whether there are people who are doing this still in Italy.